start.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
That's the wrong cup. I have with me my paintbrushes. These are old and I have not cleaned them, so I'm going to take this off of the shop towel. It's very windy out right now. Try not to drink it. I gotta decide what I want to start with doing. I think I'm gonna start with the wheels, and for these I'm just going to give them a Vallejo engine wash. But before I do that, I'm going to, on the white walls, I will take my razor and I'm going to scratch them up to make little cracks, which the engine wash will seep into and make it look very detailed. Just start right here with this wheel, and I'm just going to scratch it lightly and randomly with the razor, and I'm going to try to do outward scratches like this. Okay, got that. Now, I'm going to take my wash. Shake it up. Just kind of start with the inside of the rim. And I know it looks very thick and runny, so I'm just going to spread it around. And then we'll just go like this. And it'll sink into those cracks, and then I'll wipe it off. Make it look a little bit better real soon. It's just kind of going to dirty up the tires a little bit. It should sink into some of these cracks. If it doesn't, that's going to be disappointing. And then we'll just go through the wheel a little more on the edge like this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and do all the wheels. I went ahead, I did all the wheels. I'm going to go over them a couple more times, but that's for later, because the enamel of the wash does take a little bit of time to dry, or not the enamel, sorry, the wash, and in not very long. It's probably already dry, and it's only been like maybe 5 minutes at the max, but we're going to go ahead and do the underside, starting with the back. We'll just do a little bit of this. See this?
Hey, that's pretty good.
We're going to start with this now. I know it looks very, very brown and very thick, and that is exactly what it is. And then with this, since this is a darker color paint, I'm just gonna go along it in here. I should be able to take some of the light rust. I shouldn't even need a Q-tip, and I should just be able to pinch it and toss it on, maybe not. Now, I know it looks a little bit ugly before we get it on, but you gotta remember, weathering a model car is just like a lady putting on makeup. I did just this half of it from about here back, plus the leaf springs. And now I'm going to start with, and this is why I wanted to use the lightest color rust pigments, is because the underside of the car is very, very hard to see, especially in low light. So I'll be taking the light rust first with a Q-tip, if I can grab it. It's just one of these little like nose swabs. Shake up the pigment, and this is what it looks like. This stuff is almost an orange color. I don't know how well you can see that or not. It's kind of in there real hard. But we're going to take this bit of pigment and just tap it on to give it a little texture. Can't see it all that well. And it looks very coarse and rough at this point, because it is. And it's going to build up on top of itself, which is why we do layers of it. You don't want to use a whole lot. Sometimes I'll go like this. Just streak it a little bit more along with the lines. And then right here, see that color? Looks very nice. Now it almost acts as a paint because of how well it is mixed with the other rust color, which is exactly what we want to happen. And then with these, we'll just take it. It doesn't have to look super caked. And we'll go along the tailpipes as well. Get these rusty. The tailpipes we're going to focus more with medium rust. I think looks great, and it is a little bright, which I'm going to fix after we get the whole bottom of the car done, which I will get this side done. I did not get it entirely finished, but thought I would film it a little bit. Just gonna take it. Get your mind out of the gutter, okay? You gotta get the whole brush, because this is pretty empty, so you gotta shake it around. Now the bit underneath the differential at what would be the highest part of the floor pan is very difficult to get, and I got it most of the way. But no, and with the exhaust pipes I made the mistake of putting some of this on the color, but we're going to want to use the flat gray and then put the rust powder onto this instead. But let's get... the body mounts you're going to want to get a lot of rust on, since the idea for this is that it's set out some, ooh, got a little bit dripping down the body, that's not good.
But I'm not very good at it. But it doesn't matter.
The idea with this is that it's sat somewhere, like maybe in Florida, just off the coast, where it gets all wet with the salty seawater sprinkling in like a hurricane zone, and then maybe got brought up out west or something, I don't know. I'll be putting it on a diorama that'll have a story for it. I want to get it looking like nice first. This stuff does dry relatively quick, so before I do anything else, I'm going to take the light rust, and I'm going to use the same Q-tip as much as I can. I got this now. I just put the wrong end in. Please stand by as our host is experiencing some mild technical difficulties. It doesn't matter too much. Very small amount of the wrong color got in there anyway. I'm not really that worried about it at all. And we're just gonna take it just like this, like we did in the back. Just gonna go like this. I'll just jam it all around in here. Now it's going to turn into that almost paint-like material because of the darker brown, which is exactly what we want. Go like that. Put the lid on this. I'm gonna use a new Q-tip, I think, just because, I mean, should be pretty self-explanatory why. It sounds like there's something that's not pigment in here. Not a big deal. This is the medium rust. I'm going to go over this. Just roll it along to get the different tones. On the axle, just like that. Try not to get the differential. Just like that. Do it on this side now. And I got a little on the differential, and it's probably not that big of a deal. Now, some people, they will use cinnamon for this kind of powdering, which I think is stupid because it attracts bugs, even if you put some kind of like finish or enamel wash over it, because, you know, cinnamon is strong, and it's only one color. With these pigments, you can get various gradients. Now, you want to do this in sections, because I've said it before, and I will say it again, and you gotta have sections, because this stuff dries really, really fast. Speaking of sections, it appears that we have reached the end of part 1. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2.